Good afternoon, I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Midday News. The headlines. NDC President CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI urges police to desist from threatening Zambians. Nominated Member of Parliament RAPHAEL NAKACHINDA says the death of 2 Zambians is as a result of Hakainde Hichilem's hunger for State House. Details coming through after this commercial.
Looks like most residents in some parts of Lusaka will have to spend their night in water after the city experienced heavy downpours.
A SAF helicopter was also seen hovering around the perimeters as if the country is at war.
Emotions were high among the KAMBWILI clan Wednesday, 14th October 2020, before and after the National Democratic Congress NDC President CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI was sentenced to 1 year in prison, and the bullet ended in the leg of the innocent 18-year-old Angela Mwana. Efrem Mate was busy being installed as caretaker chief, Kapijimpanga, at an unknown location on the 28th of November 2020.
Zambia has continued to record steady progress in the fight against COVID-19, with the latest report being impressive.
Some journalists were not spared from harassment.
And the latest is a couple of Lusaka's Kanyama compound. They've assaulted each other over a meager 20 kwacha.
Dr. Miles praised Zambia for maintaining the peace it has exhibited thus far. Pastor Moses and Victoria Chiluba, who Camnet TV has been holding the National Matters conferences. The wife and daughter to incarcerated National Democratic Congress leader CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI got arrested by the police following a fracas with the police.
Each one of us must have and make efforts to build our nation.
The continued calls for diversification in Zambia seems to be yielding results.
President Lungu revealed that a commission of inquiry into this matter will be instituted to ascertain the accusations.
Don't miss on the 31st of December 2020 at exactly 12 hours as we look back at the interesting events that made news in 2020. Camnet TV, not just another channel. And now the media news in detail. Minister of Lands and Natural Resources Jean Kapata says the validation of the draft National Land Policy has been completed, awaiting cabinet approval. The Lands Minister says the drafted land policy is currently being scrutinized by other ministries before it can be presented to Parliament for enactment. The Minister says once approved by Parliament, the land policy will automatically be passed into law. Currently, Zambia has no law that prohibits land ownership, including by foreign nationals, which has brought about a lot of controversy in the country. Details in the following report.
Issues of land wrangles have continued to be a threat to many lives in the country. While large pieces of lands have continued to be occupied by those with full bank accounts, the majority of poor Zambians have continued to suffer at the expense of the minority. While no law prohibits land allocation in the country, a call has emerged to have laws that will guide how land should be allocated and who is titled to own land in the country. And while the call has been long overdue, Minister of Lands and Natural Resources Jean Kapata has finally delivered the good news that the overdue draft of the land policy has been completed, awaiting Cabinet's approval.
Well, the land policy is done. As far as I'm concerned, we are done. The validation has been done. So we are waiting. It has gone into different ministries so that they can comment. After that, it will go to Cabinet. After Cabinet, then it will be turned into law. We are done with the draft, the national draft land policy.
The minister has also officiated at the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of a police post in Lusaka's Kalundu area. The minister says government is committed to fighting lawlessness in the country.
The whole project is fully funded by from the Constituency Development Fund at a total of 227,554 ngwe, and is expected to be completed in 8 weeks. So we are starting to count from today.
Other stakeholders have also thanked government for finally starting the construction of the police post in the area.
This is not the end. We wish also to aid our minister, which I've already done before, to improve the CDF funding.
The security were very close. Our neighbors are Ngombe, and this road which you have seen there We have had some incidences, very few of them, which are being contained, and the innovation which has come, the launching of this police force will be very welcome.
Who is the police operations, as it will be very close to the community. The police officers will be working hand in hand with the community, and I'm so happy that even the chairman for neighborhood is here.
It has been a huge challenge, and therefore the coming in of this post will be a big relief, and it will enhance also our security services. We also want to indicate that we shall be contributing a total of 30,000 kwacha to this project.
In other news, National Democratic Congress NDC President CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI says the statement issued by the Zambia police regarding the shooting to death of 2 Zambians in cold blood lacks empathy and sympathy towards the bereaved family. Mr. KAMBWILI has further advised the police to desist from threatening Zambians at will, as they have continued to do in recent times. The NDC leader says that what the police were supposed to do was simply to tell the nation who killed the 2 Zambians, as opposed to ducking around the issue.
National Democratic Congress leader Dr. CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI has described the statement issued yesterday by the police spokesperson Esther Katongo as intimidating and threatening and has no regard for human life.
What we expected was the ministry, through the police, to tell us who pulled the trigger and what action was going to be taken against such individuals or such an individual. To my surprise, police have issued a very arrogant and intimidating, threatening statement without regard to the fact that life was lost. And the president said, I want a report. We were all excited and said, yes, the president is providing leadership. And what we expected yesterday on news was to tell us that police have finished their investigations. The policeman who pulled the trigger has been identified, and is going to be charged with murder, and the rest will be done at court.
In a long statement issued by Zambia police spokesperson Esther Katongo yesterday, this is what was said.
The police, we regret the loss of the 2 lives, which was as a result of the public disturbance, which could have been avoided had the leaders of the political party, that is the UPND, taken heed of the advice earlier given by relevant authorities.
The opposition leader says the statement lacks morality.
How surely can police continue justifying the killings? Extrajudicial killings are not allowed anywhere in the world. In fact, extrajudicial killings call for people to be charged for murder and to be taken to court. But here we are. The police who are supposed to be protecting life and property want to continue justifying the killing of innocent people.
He has also urged the Minister of Religious Affairs to condemn such brutality from the police.
Colleagues, you don't dare the people. More especially when life has been lost. It is a time of reflection, being sorry for the action. But for you to continue saying police will not fold arms and see lawlessness. What lawlessness was exhibited there? Tell me what lawlessness was exhibited there. Those UPND cadres went to give solidarity, and they were far away from police headquarters. They were actually at the roundabout of the High Court of Zambia. They were not insulting. They had no stones with them. They just sat to wait while their leader was being interrogated. Ask us who were there from the first day of PF. There's never been a time in the history of PF where Mr. Sata was summoned by the police and he went alone. Never. Go in the history books. There's never been, and I want to repeat, There was never a time that Mr. Sata was summoned by the police, by DEC, or any law enforcement agents, including going to court, that he went alone. He always went with the cadres to give solidarity and support.
Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Nominated Member of Parliament RAPHAEL NAKACHINDA has accused United Party for National Development President Hichilema of being behind the killing of the two Zambians suspected to have been shot by the police. Mr. Nakachinda says had Mr. Hichilema restrained his cadres from accompanying him at the force headquarters, none of that could have happened. The nominated Member of Parliament accuses Mr. Hichilema of being too power-hungry while practicing politics of confusion. Mr. Nakachinda said had Mr. Hichilema restrained his supporters, the death of the two people would have not occurred. He further accuses Mr. Hichilema of lacking respect for human life, lest for the dead.
The Zambian people must know that the bloodsucker that we have in this country, who is trying to advance his political agenda around chaos, is Mr. Hichilema. What happened on Wednesday who could have been avoided. Mr. Hichilema is an ordinary Zambian, though leading a political party, and is liable to be accountable for his actions either today or indeed in the past. The allegations for which he was summoned to appear before the police were purely to do with his private business. It had nothing to do with politics. Hence, it didn't warrant him organizing and ferrying cadres in the manner that he did, to try and create confusion over issues that he needed just to answer as a person. If Mr. Hichilema is claiming to be as clean as he has been purporting to be, there was no need for him to try and create confusion in the manner that he did. We know that the police are still investigating on who could have actually taken, shot our colleagues that lost their lives, and we are yet to get a report. But that act was necessitated by the conduct, irresponsible conduct, by Mr. Hichilema. And as we go towards 2021, I think we all have to begin to name and shame politicians who are attempting to fuel.
In other news, the Lusaka City Council LCC has warned and cautioned 165 business premises for failure to comply with COVID-19 guidelines. LCC Public Relations Manager George CHISHIMBA says the affected premises risk being closed for business should they continue disregarding set guidelines. Mr. CHISHIMBA says with the rising COVID-19 cases, LCC public health inspectors have intensified enforcement of COVID-19 guidelines in public places throughout the city. He says last week 267 business premises were inspected, out of which 167 premises were found to be non-compliant and were warned accordingly. Mr. CHISHIMBA explains that business owners who have been warned may be prosecuted in the Lusaka Fast Track Court in addition to closing their businesses. The council, through Mr. CHISHIMBA, meanwhile implored religious and non-religious organizations planning to hold New Year crossover prayers to observe public health guidelines.
Yes, as you might be aware that COVID-19 cases are surging, and so as Lusaka City Council we have intensified patrols and also inspections in public places. And so last week public health inspectors went around the city and they inspected 227 premises, out of which 165 were found wanting, and they risked being closed for business. This is because they were not following public health guidelines in terms of COVID-19. We didn't find hand-washing facilities. For example, people are not masking and social distancing. And so as Lusaka City Council, we are on the ground to make sure that we enforce the public health guidelines. In the same event, we are reminding people that have planned for crossover events on the New Year's Eve that they should make sure that they follow public health guidelines. This is to make sure that no one contracts COVID-19 during this period. And so what we are reminding them is that they should maintain the required numbers. They should also make sure that people are masking up, people are observing social distancing, and also hand-washing facilities must be provided. And they should make sure that they don't include children in their programs. Children should remain at home as they do their programs. Better still, we are reminding people or encouraging people to stay at home and follow proceedings online where it is possible.
Well, that news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Midday News, but before we go, the headlines once again. NDC President CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI urges police to desist from threatening Zambians. Nominated Member of Parliament RAPHAEL NAKACHINDA says the death of 2 Zambians is as a result of Hakainde Hichilem's hunger for State House. Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Compliments of the season and good afternoon.